All right, welcome back, everybody. We're going to talk about. I have been working on this for a few days, so let's watch my little intro, and I'll do a little intro, a little sting. All right. Oh, my word whisker. Gotta stop saying all right, because things aren't all right everywhere. It's morning. So, I have been tying flies. And on my channel, you'll see there is a fly tying or a fly fishing playlist. So, I'll be posting more and more. Now, I started making bass baits, soft and hard baits, custom painting them years ago, and it really has been profitable enough to where I can support my habit of fishing. So this year, just recently, we bought a fly fishing rod, as you know. So still have to learn how to use that. But the neat thing about fly fishing is not just the grace and the beauty of standing in the water and laying down a fly gently onto the water and watching a fish hit it and capturing it. It's beautiful. It really is. But you guys know I'm an artist. I mean, I've done a lot of art since childhood. My wife and I asked her out in an art store that I worked in on our first date. I was really nervous. So I've always done art. I mean, I have my very favorite painting or picture that I created over here means a lot to me. And, I did it in the throes of my paralysis and coming out of it. So art to me is therapy, just therapy. And the creative aspect of it is amazing for me. Tie flying, I had no idea. All right, the art of tie flying, and it's beautiful in a wonderful way where you take something from nature that nature's basically thrown away, and you can take something as simple as a feather. And what you do is you just look at the feather and you think about your fly that you want to make. And you're going to take pieces of this feather. You're basically going to cut it up a little bit. And you're going to take this pattern. That could be a wing or a tail. Fur. Put that back in my little package. Now this is peacock and strands of peacock, and then of course peacock feathers. And you're going to take pieces of it. Not the whole thing, just pieces of it. And you're going to create something dainty, something really small. Get something. Hit my head on the light. It's got that peacock feather in there, among other feathers. You're going to just create life in an art form onto a hook. And the hook has many layers. I mean, it looks totally different wet. That's what's so cool about it. And, this hook's got gold and stuff right on the wrapped around that. So when this becomes wet, it's going to take on a different look. So it will transform. So the art that you're going to make on the hook is going to transform into something different. So in the end, what we make when it's dry, we have to think, okay, what's it going to look like in the water? So very much like my bass lures. Bass don't have blue cones in their eyes. So I have to think, okay, what's the bass going to see? So I have a filter that allows me to for me to see what the bass sees in color spectrums. And so when I paint and create bass lures, I have to think how the bass sees it and then what attracts them. Interesting that most flies cater to trout because trout eat flies. Trout see blue better than all other colors, unlike bass who cannot see blue. So now I need to think like a trout. So I have a filter now that allows me to see trout through the trout's eyes. You add these things called hackle and feathers and stuff like that, and you tie it, which is not as hard as I thought it was going to be. Tying using that loop, to tie the knot. I think I could get a better one. I don't know. I just got to learn how to use it better. Practice. But I would definitely recommend this book, Fly Tying for Beginners. It's by Peter Gathercole. At the beginning of the book, it's basically a class on technique. Now, the neat things, paired wing, soft loop, he teaches you what to look for in a feather. Then cut it, then how to attach it. It really is an amazing book. Spinning deer hair, which is really important, which is one of those things I look forward to using, because this is where sculpting comes in. You put deer hair on and you flare it out, and then you end up sculpting it right here. And this gives a very light head to it and floating and stuff like that. So really neat. Well, I'll show you one. I love this bait in this fly. And 242. Now this one's reminds me kind of like a bass bait. Looks like a shad. But this is done with deer hair. You sculpt it right here. You sculpt it, and then you're going to color it with pens, waterproof pens. And there's layers within here. And then you actually glue on eyes. So it's really, really neat. When wet, this thing, it's got to look just like a shad, in the water, wet. It's got to look really, really good. So when you think about flies, you're not going to make any money making flies. Flies are cheap. Unlike bass lures, where, I can sell them for, anywhere from $7 to $50. Flies, I really don't think you can do that. The beauty of fly tying is not making a living at it, which some people do. I don't know how they do it. But it's finding pieces of nature, cutting it out, and then tying it on, and then creating life. Seeing, and then taking this beautiful art that you created, and when it becomes wet, it transforms into something else. Dry, and then there's an eye. Basically, he used this feather as an eye on there. And then the peacock, I don't know what they go, strands. I haven't figured out all the terms. It will give it some flash to it. And the stripe, I mean, this thing, when it's dry or wet, is going to look completely, it's going to transform into something completely different. It's amazing. I had no idea. I really didn't. I didn't get it. All right? I just didn't get it. And, I have a buddy who raises rabbits, so I'm sure I can get some rabbit fur from him. No reason for me to buy that when he raises and butchers rabbits. So, but, rabbit fur is real important. I think this is skunk. So, I don't know. I bought. By the way, if you get into fly tying, don't just buy everything. Buy kits, all right? Buy a kit, all right, of just making one and then learn. Because you're only going to need what you need. You don't need everything else. But me being very creative, I want to create my own flies and my own take on them. Will they work? I don't know, but it's art is really a perception. And when I create, I want it to have a look to it. Now, the beauty of making my own baits, and I do make all my own baits when I go fishing, is that I catch fish on what I create. And there's some gratification in that. True gratification. And if I give baits to children or sell them, and people tell me that they caught, a beautiful fish, personal best, or their first fish on one of my creations, that is a reward that is tough to quantify. And I love that about making a memory for somebody. And my baits make memories for people, good or bad. Sometimes they lose them. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they catch 8 fish and then they lose it. So it did its job. It gave that person 8 memories. Always tie a good knot and use fresh line. It's just, I'm starting an adventure. And I just think you guys will enjoy my adventure. Watching me not just paint baits, which, I'm not giving that up, all right? I'll still make my hard baits. I'll still make my soft baits. I mean, over here to my left is my bass making area. Over here to my right is my fly tying area. And I thought I built a big enough studio in my basement. I really did. Guess not. But I'm setting up my pegboard because there's so much material. So it's behind my fly tying station. So my pegboard is actually where my fly tying stuff is. I did make that beautiful, beautiful fly tying station. And as this becomes more and more, and I'm still going to, you could still buy a lot of stuff from me. I mean, you saw some of the things that I'm selling, some fishing reels, I have a beautiful ultralight reel, and I've got some incredibly high-end spin casters, which are, by Proficiency, their Sniper, and their Zebco's Bullet 30s. I have those new in a box. And I have one of my subscribers is buying this beautiful pen reel along with a Piranha Max 4 fish finder, which I tested. I got it in just yesterday and hooked it up to the battery, took some pictures of it, sent it to them to make sure that, everything worked. So there are, I'm continually, please hit the bell notification down below as I get these things in. We're going to, we'll buy, sell, make, sell, create, sell. And, oh yeah, my keychains, my new Terrible at Fishing keychains, which is great for everybody. $5. I love my keychains. They're great. It has a bottle opener and snips. You always have to cut the tag end off, right? I don't think it'll do braided line. It's not that good of a snip, but definitely does mono and floral. I just wanted to make this video just to tell you guys what to expect, but also why I do it. I mean, I do it to create. And why does a person create? That's a good question. I mean, if you're religious, God created out of love. Why do I create? It's a good question. Part of it is therapy. Part to see something in my mind come to fruition. It's part of it, you think of stuff. I write. I've written 8 books. Why did I write those books? Because I wanted something from my mind to come to fruition, so to be a reality. When we dream, not all dreams are good, but when we have a good dream, we kind of want it to become a reality. So why do I create? It's really for myself. I want to see in front of me something tangible coming from something intangible. And it's relaxing. I think if a bait maker would tell you, in the end, it's therapy. Art is therapy. It's even therapy for those that look at it. I love going to galleries. My favorite towns have always been very artistic towns, like Cambria, California. Nothing but little art galleries of artists. I went to Carson City, Nevada recently, and there was an art gallery there that displayed nothing but local art. Beautiful, beautiful. We have one here in Klamath Falls, and it's just local artists, and it's just beautiful. It's free. You walk in and you can buy their art, but also see what those residents here locally, it's a co-op, makes. And I love that. There's so many murals and stuff like that here in Klamath Falls that all made by local artists. It's just, and we have a lot of public pianos, all painted by local artists. And why do we all do it? It's to give something, but also to take something. We take pleasure and we give pleasure. And it's a give and take, but it's I don't know, it's just fun. Anyway, I wanted to kind of share that with you. It's just, if you're wondering why I'm doing this, or why I do it, you guys know that I've gone through a lot of health trauma. And jury's out on the current stuff. We'll see. We'll get those results back next week. But, now that I'm in my 60s, I'm really trying to stay off life support. And, try to keep the brain from breaking, although got some other stuff that wants to break. So we'll see. We'll see. Life is short. Nobody knows it better than me and my family. Hate to get deep on you, but take peace where you can get it, which is fishing, standing in a river, floating on a lake, or just in your basement, making whatever I want to make. I love y'all. Email me if you need a fishing reel. I've got a few of them. I got them on Facebook Marketplace right now. So hit my Facebook and friend me, and you can see what I got all the time. But take care, everybody. It's a good day. Today's a good day. Tight lines to you.